let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris. Misty, great to see you. So 18 counts on 2 charges: transmission of national defense information, retention of national defense information. What does the DOJ need to prove here?
So basically, when it comes to proving these 2 charges, they're a little different. One relates to transmission. That's actually sending any documents or information, it looks like, to individual 1 and 2, believed to be his family members, as well as what was retained. We know that his house was searched. There was a search warrant for his house and his office, and documents, its hard drives and all sorts of other electronics were confiscated, leading to this indictment. In order to prove a criminal case, there has to be intent. There has to be knowing conduct to disseminate and retain these documents. In addition to that, the documents have to be related to national defense information. And I know that sounds like a no-brainer, but that's a very specific type of document, which would be something that could be used to harm the United States or to aid a foreign nation. So each and every one of these documents, Gotti, is going to be under scrutiny from the defense as to whether it falls into that category.
If this does come down to like unsecured note-taking of secret information that was then read by hackers, like what kind of criminal penalties could come from something like that?
So for each charge here, Gotti, it could carry a penalty of up to 10 years in prison. Now, of course, that would be a maximum penalty, and a judge would have discretion. But these are significant charges with a significant penalty, because this type of information, the motivation to keep this secret and secure and contained is reflected in the law and the severity of these charges. So certainly the penalty could be very severe, provided prosecutors prove their case.
And Misty, real fast, I mean, you know, when we're talking about classified documents, and we're living in an age where classified documents, you know, they may be paper, they may be electronic, you may be taking notes on your phone, you may be sending them to an email address, or I don't know. I mean, like we see what happened with Signalgate, like what kind of legal precedent is being set here?
Well, so in this particular case, this is well-established legal precedent that somebody who works in this position, works for the Department of Justice, is told time and time again and is obligated to keep confidential and documents that are classified outside of the public sphere. And this is reflected, Gotti, in this indictment when you see that there was a SCIF that's a secure room that was there in Bolton's house to house documents. 2019, that security was taken away. Then it descends into all of the other evidence the prosecutors have put forth, communications, criticisms of others and the way documents were handled. That all speaks to the critical elements of this type of charge, which is intentional and knowing conduct.
Yeah, we'll see how all this plays out. NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris, thank you so much for joining us.